So today I'll be starting with the functions. Functions. Can you tell me what is meant by function? Yes. You are using function in C, isn't it? What is the meaning of function? It is nothing but a block of organized, reusable code. You can reuse it. Once you define the function, you can reuse it. Okay. So function is defined as a block of organized reusable code. So which may be used to perform a single related action. Okay. We can write a function to get a sum of the numbers or to sort the numbers, etc. Okay. So what is the advantage of functions? Can you tell me what is advantage of function? It provides modularity to the program. Okay, repeatedly, suppose if you want to use same code in your program, then it is better to write the function and call it. So repetitions are avoided. So this is a called as modular approach of the programming. So using the function provides modularity. Okay, and it also provides high degree of code reusing. So this is an efficient way of programming. Okay, so there are two types of functions here. One is built-in function and another is user-defined function. What is meant by built-in function? Can you tell me what is meant by built-in function? Python interpreter itself has many built-in functions like print. So print is nothing but the built-in function. Okay. So then what is meant by user-defined function? You can also create the function and it is known as user-defined function. Okay. So there is a keyword def, and this keyword def is used to define the function. Okay, so there are some simple rules in order to implement the function using Python. Okay, so the function block generally begins with the keyword def, and this def is followed by a parenthesis. Parenthesis means opening and closing bracket, round bracket. Okay, so this is called as a parenthesis. Okay, now if there are any input parameters, then they should be placed within this parenthesis. Okay, so you can also define parameters inside these parentheses. Okay, so this is the another rule. The third rule is that the starting function, starting statement or the first statement can be any optional statement. Okay, the documentation string function or docstring function can be used at the start. Okay, then code block must be written, and it starts, every function starts with a colon, and it is indented. That means there must be indentation, and every function must end with the return. Okay, So when it encounters return, it exits the function. Okay. So how we are going to write the function? Def, then function name into bracket or into parenthesis. If you want to define parameters, you can define, then you have to write a colon, then you have to include the docstring, then there is function suit, whatever you want to write, and then return into bracket expression. So such a function can be used in Python. Let us write one simple function using our IDLE. Okay, let us try it. I have to open IDLE for this. New share. IDLE is not there. I have to open it. So here you can observe, I'm going to open a new file, and in this new file I'm going to paste the code sum A and B, return A and B. So simple function will write def sum, name of the function, sum into parameter, into bracket, you may write parameter A comma B. These two are the parameters. Then some error has occurred. Let's see what happened here. There must be the space between A and B. Unexpected indent. So here there is extra indent, so that I have to remove. Let me see whether it works. Yes. Define sum A comma B and then colon, and then I have to write return the value. Our expression is A plus B. A plus B. So I have to return this value. Okay. So दिसतंय का अथर्व? अथर्व दिसतंय का? डिफाइन सम A comma B, रिटर्न A plus B. आता हे फंक्शन जर मला वापरायचं असेल तर व्हॉट आय हॅव टू डू? सम into bracket 9,5. If I write this, then what I'll be getting? I'll be getting 14. Okay. So this is a simple way to write the function. Okay. So just you have to write define name of the function. Then into parenthesis, you have to write the parameters that you are inputting, and then there should be colon, and then there may be a code body, and return some value, and that value may contain expression that is a plus b. Or here you can also write s is equal to a plus b and return s. So that will also do. S is equal to a plus b and return s. So that will also do. So in this way, you can write the functions. Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is so simple. Now, after this, we should know what the module is. We should know what the module is, because in our Raspberry Pi, we are using modules. Module. Okay. So generally, a module is a Python object which arbitrarily named attributes that you can bind and reference. That means module is a file containing Python code. Okay. And a module can define a function, it can define classes, it can define variables. Module can also include executable code. Okay. And how you can use module in your program? For that, you have to use a keyword import. Import is used to use a particular built-in module. Okay. So what the import statement does, when the interpreter encounters the import statement, it imports the module if the module is present in the search path. Okay. So if module is present, then it is imported. Okay. So some modules we are using in our Raspberry Pi programming, and this is available with your Raspbian operating system. These modules are present with your Raspbian operating system. So if you are trying to run simply using this Python, it won't do. But if you use the Raspberry Pi board, and if the Raspbian operating system is loaded, then you can import these modules. Okay. So which are the different modules? As far as your examination is concerned, you should know the different modules and use of that module. Okay. So we are using this module, I think, RPI dot GPIO. So what is RPI GPIO? This is a Python module. This is a Python module to control the GPIO interface which is present on Raspberry Pi. Okay. And it was developed by Ben Croston. You should know this. It was developed by Ben Croston and released under an MIT free software license. Okay. And this library is included in your Raspbian operating system. Okay. So how you are going to import the RPI GPIO? So for that, what you have to do is you have to write import. So this should be in lowercase letters, import, then space RPI dot GPIO, import as GPIO. So we are importing this as GPIO. So if you import it as GPIO, every time you need not write RPI.GPIO. Instead, you can write simply GPIO. Okay. So generally, this RPI GPIO supports GPIO pin. Okay. Either you can use physical pin numbers which are present on GPIO connector, or you can use your Broadcom channel names, okay, which is present on your SoC, on your Raspberry Pi board. Okay. So suppose if you want to use BCM channel numbers, so just for physical numbers, what you have to do is you have to write import rpi.gpio as GPIO. But suppose if you want to use the channel numbers, okay, Broadcom channel numbers, then what you have to use is you have to use channel numbers by setting up your BCM mode. Okay, so for that, what you have to write is GPIO dot set mode, GPIO set mode into bracket GPIO dot BCM, GPIO dot BCM. What is meaning of BCM? GPIO is general purpose input output. Okay, this should be only one O, not two. Okay, so GPIO.BCM. So this you must use, and if you are using this statement, meaning of this is you are setting up the channel. Okay, and you can use the Broadcom channel numbers instead of using physical pin numbers. So on our board, you have seen there are physical pin numbers also, and there are Broadcom channel numbers also. Okay, channel numbers means which are present on your system on chip. So anyone you can use. Okay, now by using this setup keyword or setup keyword, or what you can do is you can set up either your channel as input channel or as output channel or as either. Okay, that means suppose if I want to set up the GPIO channel as input channel, then what I have to write is GPIO. This GPIO always must be in capital. GPIO dot, then in small setup into bracket channel. So you have to write a channel number here and comma GPIO dot in, GPIO dot in. Meaning of this is your channel is set as input pin. Your channel is set as input pin. And how you are going to write if your channel is set as output pin? Yes, tell me, Atharva. How you have to write it? Yes. Atharva, how you have to define the channel as output pin? It's very simple. What you have to do? Yes. आहे का अथर्वा?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
कसं लिहायचं? इनच्या ठिकाणी आउट लिहायचं फक्त, बाकी काही करायचं गरज नाही. GPIO dot setup, GPIO dot setup into bracket channel, into bracket channel चं spelling चुकलं, एकच आहे, channel comma GPIO dot out. So if you write this, your channel will be set up as output. It will be set up as output. Okay. Suppose if you want to read a value, from your input channel, then how you have to read it. Okay, suppose some pin I have defined as the input pin, and I want to read the value from this input pin. Then what I have to do? I have to write GPIO dot input into bracket channel number. You have to do this. So if you do this, you are able to read whatever value present on your channel number. Okay. Now, suppose if you want to set the output state of GPIO pin, if you want to set the output state of GPIO pin, then here what you have to do is just replace input by output and the state you want to write there. That means in this case, what I have to do is GPIO dot setup, output, GPIO output into bracket. You have to write here channel number, comma. Either you have to write a high state or you have to write a low state. So here you have to write the state. Okay. So this you have to do. Okay. So or simply you can write GPIO dot high, HIGH, to set it to 1, or you can write GPIO low, GPIO dot low. This also you can do. Okay. So now you came to know how to import the GPIO, how to set the Broadcom mode, how to set up the channel as input, how to set up the channel as output, how to get the input from input pin, how to write output to the output pin. So this thing we have seen. And now last but not least, okay, when you are done with your library, it is good practice to free up resources used and return all channels back to their default values. So for that, what you have to do is you have to just write what you have to write: GPIO cleanup, GPIO dot clean up, GPIO cleanup. आणि मग त्याच्या पुढे काय करायचं, ब्रॅकेट लिहायचं, पॅरेंथेसिस ज्याला आपण म्हणतो, बघा इथे लिहिते GPIO cleanup. So if you write GPIO cleanup, then what will happen? It will free up all resources used and return the channel back to its default value. So you must know all these things. What is function of GPIO dot cleanup, GPIO dot setup, GPIO dot input, GPIO dot output, import RPI, GPIO as GPIO. So as far as your examination is concerned, you should know all these things. Okay, are you clear about this?
Yes, ma'am.
I think this will not be there in your mathematics part. This is only for
No, ma'am.
this is only for Raspberry Pi. Now there is one more function, that is time function. So time function is also important. Time function is there. Okay. Or time module is there. So what is its use? It handles various operations related to time. Okay, and generally the beginning of time is started measuring from 1st January 1970 at 12 a.m. Okay, and this time is called as epoch in Python. Epoch चा अर्थ काय? टाइम कॅल्क्युलेशन कुठून चालू झालं? EPOCH, epoch. टाइम कॅल्क्युलेशन कुठून सुरू झालं? 1st January 1970 आणि किती वाजता चालू झालं ते? 12 AM सकाळी सकाळी. ओके, त्याला काय नाव आहे? इपॉक. ओके, आता देर इज अ फंक्शन कॉल्ड ॲज टाइम. तुम्हाला जर एखाद्या कुठल्या फंक्शन बद्दल जास्त माहिती पाहिजे असेल तर what you have to do is you can get a help. Now I am going to share with you ideally shell. Can you see ideally shell? Can you? Yes, Atharva, can you see the shell?
Yes, ma'am.
So if I write help into bracket time, it will give you information about the time. Here error has occurred because this functionality is not available with this shell. Instead, if you type this with your Raspberry Pi, Raspbian operating system, it will give you information. So here, suppose if I write help about print, then it will give. Okay. It will give all information about the built-in function print. So if you want any information about the built-in function, just you have to type help into bracket your name of your built-in function. Okay. Now let us go back to whiteboard. I'm going to share whiteboard, and we were discussing about the built-in function, that is time. This is used to count the number of seconds. Okay, and this will count the number of seconds lapsed since epoch. Epoch पासून सुरुवात होते time मोजायला. Okay, now there is one more function which is called as GM time second. GM time second. Into bracket second. So what this function will do, it returns a structure with 9 values. Okay, so this will return a structure with the 9 values, each representing a time attribute in sequence. That means days, years, months, etc. up to second. Okay, so this is how we can use a time function. Now, apart from these built-in functions, there are library functions. There are library functions present. Library functions. So library functions are present in Python. There are built-in functions, there are built-in constants, there are built-in types. Okay, so you can read it from book, okay, or you can get it from the notes, because it is a very big list. Built-in exceptions, text processing services, binary data services, data types, numeric and mathematical modules, functional programming modules, find and directory access, then data persistence, data compression and archiving, file formats, cryptographic services, generic operating system services, concurrent execution, all these functions are there. context where networking and interprocess communication, internet data handling, structured markup processing tools, internet protocol and support. So such a big library is present. Even multimedia services are there, internalizations are there, program frameworks are there, graphical user interface with Tinker is there, development tools are there. So debugging and profiling is there, software packaging and distribution is there, Python runtime services are there, custom Python interpreters are there, importing modules are there, Python language services are there. There are numerous. You can read them. Okay, so it is very simple to read it, but it is very difficult to remember it. Okay, so each and everything you need not remember. I think it will not be asked in examination, but whatever I have covered till now, that is the GPIO, set mode, setup, input, output, time function, meaning of epoch, GM time, these things are important as far as your examination is concerned. Okay, so now what I will do, I will end the meeting because only 1 minute is remaining, and I will restart the meeting so that we will carry out certain programs and then we'll stop. Is it okay?
उद्या घ्या ना.
उद्या घेऊ.
हो मॅम, आमच्या इथं जरा काम चाललंय भिंतीचं, त्याच्यामुळे ते जरा थोडस डिस्टर्बन्स.
बर बर बर, चालेल. मग हे काय साधे प्रोग्राम्स आहेत पुढचे, ऑपरेटर्स प्रोग्राम्स ह्याच्याबद्दल, तर उद्या घेऊ आपण, काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही. उद्या घेऊ म्हणजे मग उद्या आपला पायथन संपेल. हा
हो मॅम, चालेल.
हा, जेवढं सिलेबस मध्ये दिलंय तेवढंच परीक्षेसाठी करायचं. आणि दुसरी गोष्ट म्हणजे हे झाल्यानंतर काय घ्यायचं आपण, कम्युनिकेशनचा 3rd चॅप्टर, तो म्हणजे IoT घेऊ आधी.
चालेल मॅम.
हा, ओके, then I'm going to end it.